Elena Aldrink, Olentangy Liberty, Ohio, part of an absolute Midwest masterclass out here today at the Brooks XC Championships. She's an individual All-American in 12th place Midwest, the top group overall. If you allow me to start there, Elena, talking to so many of your amazing teammates for this week, whether it's Michigan or Minnesota, obviously you're representing Ohio. When obviously you've been such an amazing ambassador and leader at Olentangy Liberty, what is that vibe like, when literally like this superpowers of women's distance running comes together for an event like this?
Yeah, it's great. At my school, I have a great team that just all works together, and us girls just like really push each other. So I think coming out and racing with some of the top girls in the country, it makes it so much more heightened, and like having that support system at home and also here is just like so great to have whenever I travel.
You have to really rise to the occasion, in some of the challenging climates that you've experienced this year. Parkside being very recent. When you have a day like today, is it just like no better way to, even though it's mid-December, no better way to end a historic season for you than in these conditions out here in San Diego, right?
Yeah, it's like literally, like you said, no better way to end. I just feel like coming through, like just having this season that I've had this year, I've gone through each season. I feel like I've gone through like fall, winter, spring, summer, and it's just like crazy to see it all come together and be able to show myself that I can race in any condition and just be the best that I can be in those conditions.
If we're having a conversation in December of 2024, and you think about the growth in track and obviously this cross country season, to being an All-American and what could be argued as the best version ever of this race, because not only was it the 40 automatic qualifiers, but the golden tickets just made it an even deeper race. How significant is that growth over the past year for you, Elena?
It's so significant because I feel like last year, if I would have seen where I was this year, like last year, I wouldn't have believed it, because I have grown so much in the past year just as a runner and as a person in general, and like being able to see my hard work pay off and go through hardships and experience like pain and all of that, I feel like just having that now, the relief of having like being here with the best people in the country, it's just been so great.
Absolutely. Also, in terms of like what it is required of you, you're in the best physical shape of your young life, but mentally and emotionally, right? Like just to be like one more week of training, or one more big opportunity to race. What does that require of you just to even get on the starting line on December 13th?
Yeah, it's just, I feel like running, I always tell myself it's like 80% mental and like 20% physical. I know that's probably not true, but just in my head, I feel like I think about it that way because it's so mental, and I have to teach myself constantly each day like how to become a stronger person in the head, and I tell myself all the time, just get comfortable with being uncomfortable, and I just tell myself all of these things to help my mental state during races. And I feel like all of that, just being able to come together and growing in like my mental state during races, it's really important.
Last thing for you, obviously you can only be the best version of Elena Aldrink, but when you're looking up and you're seeing just in force, this army, this, like I said, it's this superstar line, and you're seeing, royal blue and white kits, all around you and in front of you, like just how did that kind of just inspire you to find like one last push, one last surge at the end to make sure that you were not only with them as the best team, but with them as an All-American?
Yeah, I feel like having Natasha on my team, like the Midwest team, it was just like amazing being able to hear her name and looking ahead and seeing that finish line and seeing the girls on my team. Like it looked like we were doing really well in the race because I saw a lot of people in the top 10 and I knew my place in position, and I knew that going down that hill, I was just going to be the final hard sprint of like my season, and I was just telling myself that it was my last race of the season, it was my last high school cross country race ever, so I just needed to put everything out there.
Finishing in a very fitting fashion for one of the best ever in Ohio, and one of the best athletes, period, at Olentangy Liberty. Elena, fantastic job. Congrats.
Thank you so much.